I thought about not doing a video because the translations, they were kind of meh, but I got the gist of what was happening, so I wanted to just bring this video to you guys. And of course, that once the official translations come out, I'll make another video just dissecting it a bit more. But I wanted to give my thoughts here on what transpired in this chapter, One Piece chapter 971. If you're interested in reading the chapter, go to Discord, link in the description down below. Last chapter and chapter before that, 969 and 970, everybody was trashing Oden. Well, let me not say everyone. A lot of people were trashing Oden. I really enjoyed the chapter in which it built up what Oden did, giving us a reason to the hype. It got to the point where people were saying, okay, we get it. Oden is great. Let's move on. Oden pretty much dancing for the country. It showed us a different side to him because from what we know about Oden, he was very impulsive, right? That was one thing we definitely knew about him. So this was different, but we knew there was a reason to it. We didn't get the reason until this chapter. When that happened, I said, people aren't going to be happy no matter what is said. And after this chapter with Shinobu giving us some exposition, I gotta say, I'm pretty satisfied with what happened, with Oden deciding to do what he did. One could argue about the execution of it, right? That it could have been better executed, but you can't deny that this chapter does a great job of bringing everything full circle, right? So let's talk about it. Before we get into the Oden stuff, which was phenomenal, I think Oden doing what he did was great. For a character like Oden and his sacrifice, that's great. And I think it's not going to land like it should because the execution of previous chapters. So that's what happens sometimes, right? People sometimes tune out what happens and how great things are because they're so turned off from things that happened in the past. So no matter what happens, they can't get past it. So I think this chapter had good execution, right? But when you look at the character of Oden in a nutshell, he's been phenomenal, which is a discussion for another day. Toki. I mentioned in my last review that Toki has had some abnormal reactions. Knowing that her husband is going to war, knowing he was captured, knowing that he's about to die, her expression hasn't really changed. Even Momonosuke is crying and he's breaking down because his father is about to die. Toki remains unchanged. So again, when do we start questioning Toki and trying to figure out what's her real motive here? Or like I said before, has she accepted what's going to happen to her and Oden and the kids? Because her reactions are not normal. So maybe we get some more exposition on Toki in general in the future, but for right now, I'm wary of Toki. The things that the citizens are saying, like, reminded me of the things people said in the community, where like Oden can defeat Kaido, he's an idiot. Like Oda, again, did a masterful job at making his audience feel like the citizens of Wano. And that was basically my point why I really enjoyed 969, because Oda successfully made me question Oden. Even though Oden had been great up to that point, Oda made me look at Oden crazy. And the people of Wano in this chapter, they were saying he's an idiot, and they were echoing the sentiments of what I've heard throughout the community after the chapter came out. So Oden came up with a plan for all 10 of them to enter the pot, him and his scabbards. If they survive past an hour, they can live. Now, while that strategy is a good one, because we know what Oden does throughout the chapter, that's what makes it good. However, Oden lost to Kaido because of some trickery. We saw you break this chain in the chapter. I would have liked a riot at this point. I know that's not what happens. I know everything that was foreshadowed goes back to Oden being boiled. It said Oden was boiled to death. So this had to happen because Oda set it up that way. But seeing Kaido right there, sitting casually, of course, Oden doesn't have his swords, so that's a thing. That bothered me. Not bothered to the point where it impacted my enjoyment of the chapter, but me as a fan of Oden, as a fan of just sometimes some good revenge, him asking for that, it was just, man, Oden, you're strong enough to take him, you know? But he was thinking about his people. So he goes into this water, and I think Oda did a great job here of showing somebody else, they fell into the water, and they got burned instantly. They died instantly. Oden gets into the water, and he's enduring this thing that burned somebody instantly. Then he holds a board, has his scabbards get on the board, and he's holding them up while being in this water. Listen, this feat, I'm not sure if he makes it the entire hour. I'm not sure if something happens, but this feat, if he does this for an hour, you got to put it up there with Zoro's sacrifice, Whitebeard fighting at Marineford, the feats of endurance that you can think of, Luffy fighting Katakuri. What? And of course, people are going to mention, well, he got one-shotted by Kaido in the previous chapter, so how can he do this now? Listen, I'm not going to get into that, but I think him doing this now, this man is amazing. Him as a leader, right? He's literally putting his people on his back so that they can survive. The strength, the resolve, just the understanding of knowing who got you to the top and wanting them to survive to carry on your legacy. It's unmatched. You can question execution, but dissecting this character, you cannot deny Oden's individual greatness. Even if some people don't care about the scabbards, you care about Oden. You care about the sacrifice that he made, or the sacrifices that he made, because that wasn't the end of it. Again, Shinobu gave us some more exposition as to what transpired in that room after we cut away. Because one of my theories was that, well, Orochi and Kaido, they had separate conversations with Oden. Well, they had separate conversations, but they were privy to the conversations. Like, they were both there. But before that, I actually like Kaido this chapter. Kaido was just sitting back. His sizing thing is a bit weird because Kaido looks really small here in comparison to Orochi, right? But Kaido's just sitting back, you know, and him going along with Oden's plan, as far as like, if you survive for an hour, I think this just speaks volumes to Kaido's character. And it reminded me a lot of Queen, of something Queen would agree to. I wonder if each of Kaido's calamities, they have like a part of his personality, right? Where one is suicidal, one is really cruel in Queen. Because we got Jack and we have Queen, I want to know King's personality because I assume they're all going to be batshit crazy. Another thing is that the chapter did a great job of just explaining to you how hot it is. Again, showing the guy falling into the water, but then Raizo talking about him possibly dying from the heat while being on the board. So it was trying to tell you just how much this man was enduring. And I think Denjiro's response was perfect. Like, shut up. This man is in this water, in this oil, lifting us up, and you're complaining about how hot it is up here? You cannot say anything. And Nekomushi, stop moving around because you're causing vibrations. And then the passage of time where they're telling you just how much time had passed and seeing what Oden is going through, his nose is bloodied. And then they're like, well, it's only been 4 minutes. And you're like, oh my God. And then they use the people of Wano because they're saying, oh, I thought this would be a bit more dramatic. I thought they would be screaming by this, you know, this idiot. Shinobu seeing everything that transpired, knowing Oden's sacrifice, that set her off. As it should have. They were talking about Oden as an idiot, not knowing what he gave up for them. Shinobu told the people of Wano exactly what happened in the back room with Orochi and Kaido. Pretty much Orochi hates the people of Wano because he's a Kurozumi. Again, we got some insight from the old hag, and knowing the Kurozumi, they got persecuted back in the day because of some shady shit they did. So Orochi's parents got hunted down, and Orochi basically, he wants the people of Wano to get punished for what happened to his family. So for him, talking to Oden, like Shinobu was explaining, he just wanted to see the people of Wano perish. Apparently, Kaido and Oden, they had a clash inside the castle. So I guess he got out of the barrier at some point. But then while they were fighting, Orochi made a proposal because apparently kidnappings were going on. Hundreds of people had been kidnapped. So the proposal was for Oden to dance, and for every dance, he saved 100 people. And that's, the translation's a bit wonky. Once we get the official translations, we can verify this. The dances, they were for a reason. They had a purpose. I know a lot of people, they didn't like the fact that Oden was dancing, and they had questions about his resolve, him as a character, but if he's doing it to save actual people, that many people, you really gotta look back and think that this guy did everything for the people of Wano. And then they mentioned the people of Wano leaving once the shipbuilding is complete. Again, that translation is a bit wonky. Once I get the official, then I can delve deeper into the shipbuilding and the people of Wano leaving. Of course, Oden wanted to open the borders of Wano, so building ships to be able to go back and forth. I'm thinking it could be building ships, but also building a better way to enter and leave Wano. So by means of the gondola, once we get the official, we can delve deeper. But regardless, Oden did a lot for the people of Wano. So Shinobu, she was very mad. Again, as she should have been. And Shinobu tells him, you know, Oden-sama, wait until he leaves. The people of Wano didn't realize how good they had it. That's why Shinobu said, once Oden isn't here anymore, you will feel the true wrath of Orochi and Kaido. And we know 20 years later, they're definitely feeling it. But a beautiful chapter. A beautiful chapter. I think the execution was a bit weird in certain places, especially with previous chapters and how they went about it. Again, I really love 969. 970 was a bit meh, but this is the true hour of legend. He's trying to stand in oil, burning hot oil, bubbling hot oil, while carrying his 9 scabbards so that they can survive. Truly the hour of legend. I still think we could have gotten Oden versus Kaido, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the explanation. I'm okay with the dances. I'm okay with every part of it. Of course, I wasn't trashing Oden's character at all. I wasn't one of those people. I was definitely willing to wait and see, and I'm glad I did, because it was a great explanation. I really enjoyed what happened here. So give me your thoughts, guys. What do you think about the chapter? Again, once the official comes out on Sunday, I'll drop another video because I want to talk about Oden as well. But guys, leave your thoughts. What did you think? Like the video if you did. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.